Good morning and welcome to Wayne's Lock Shop. Today on Wayne's Lock Shop, we're going to be discussing electronic access and maglocks. Also, make sure you download Locksmith Reference, the most powerful app for your phone for locksmiths today.
This is Wayne with Tri-County Locksmith Service, and today we're going to be working on this solid glass door. Now, one of the main issues that we have is we have a positive HVAC pressure issue. And basically, if that door opens with no closer, it's going to open quickly and slam into this glass door or into this rock wall. That is a problem. So one of the things that we're going to do to solve that is actually reverse the opening of the door so that it opens out, so that the pressure actually shuts the door instead of opens it. We're also going to be adding electronic access to it. So we're going to be clamping a plate on that we can then attach all the hardware to. So this door, which has virtually nothing to mount anything to, is going to be electronic access, and it's going to have a door closer.
Alrighty, so now we have our maglock set up over here. We've used a clamp to clamp the metal portion of the maglock to the door, and we've got a conventional door closer over here. You'll notice that there was no way to set up a center hung door closer on this side, and there's no way to set it up into the floor. So based off the way the system operates, we have our push to exit over here, and we push, and then voila, door comes open and comes shut very nicely, calm and controlled. Then it engages, the maglock will engage, and then even just having motion in here to get out, it will let you out. Then from the outside, comes in like so, and then voila. Very, very cool. And then we've got our power supply mounted up over here to control everything. Over to this side. Here we have the beginning of the job. You can see that the door is actually an in-swing. Now that's swinging into the staircase, so that right there already would naturally probably be a fire code problem, because if we had an exit sign above this, you would need the door to open outwards from the staircase. So if people coming from the staircase are coming up to get out of the building on the main floor, you would need that door to open outward. Anyways, so we're going to do that. Let's see that hammer, buddy. Ooh. Go, go, go. Look, we can grab and pinch. Ooh.
Oh no, this might be.
Got a Jonathan Nolan in the wild with a new tool. Here we've got some beginning pictures of the door. The only thing that stops the door and actually determines the direction is this header piece up here, or a door stop. This is the only thing that actually determines which way the door opens and closes. So the door could swing both ways if we left it out. However, we're going to mount a maglock on this, so simply reversing it is going to allow us to make that door, change the direction of the door from an in-swing to an out-swing, which is going to be much more fire code friendly according to this particular application. Here we're actually taking the locking system off and reversing the latch. I believe we actually just took the latch out of this one. We'll no longer need it. We want to keep the handles in play so that somebody has something to hold on to, both for the push and pull motions. However, the magnetic system is going to actually control the door, not this locking system anymore. Here we've got a notch cut out for the maglock. There we're test fitting the maglock into the frame and seeing how it's going to fit and seeing how it's going to adjust to the door and seeing how much we need to actually cut out of that door stop. Remember, we used the original door stop, we just flipped it onto the other side, and then now it's going to come in to the maglock. So technically we don't have to have any door stop there. The maglock will actually be the main stopping force. We're going to have 4 huge lag bolts that actually lag this thing into the wooden header and make it very, very secure. Here we go. You can see these are the factory screws, and we also put some extra long ones in that went way, way up into the header. This is actually the mounting plate here. What I'm pointing at is a hole that was pre-drilled, and that will be for the wiring. So the wiring will be very nice and easy on this one. It's just going to go ahead and drop down right through that little board, right into that plate, and right down into the maglock. So when John and I do these installations, I'm usually the one who's in charge of the mechanical aspect and actually mounting the physical hardware, and he does a lot more of the wiring and the diagrams and figuring out what to mount where. Now, when we run into a problem like this where we need to mount a push-to-exit button on tile, that's my wheelhouse and my specialty all day long. I know how to cut tools, I know how cutting tools work, and I know how tools can cut things that a lot of other people don't really know how to do. For example, here is a very aggressive diamond cutting blade that was used to score this out through that tile, and then also we were able to use a handheld or Dremel style tool with a carbide burr and an actual tile cutting bit to go ahead and finish up the corners and round everything out. Once we have everything out of the way, we can go ahead and rebuild this surface and begin to start mounting the push to exit button. Here's the power supply. Power supply is going to have a pigtail mounted to it, which is going to allow us to plug it directly into power and test the unit and provide security before we leave. We saw a Rex unit up there, which is a request to exit unit, and then a push to exit button mounted here. Now I'm going to be mounting a door closer on the other side. You can see that we've used a clamp that actually clamps onto the door to mount the magnetic plate for the magnetic lock. So since this door did not have the center hung closer or a concealed closer already installed on it, and it would be an epic nightmare to try and actually reframe that in and add a concealed closer to it, we chose to go ahead and use a surface mount door closer. This is the Norton 1600 series. I decided that we would use the same exact clamp that we used for the maglock plate to mount this to the door to give us something to mount that arm to. So here's exactly how it works. This plate is the exact same one that we used to mount the maglock magnetic piece, the actual plate to the glass door, and you can see that it's got rubber housing on both sides. It's a channeled plate, and it basically has these rubber pieces inside that get bolted down with those Allen wrenches, and then another plate gets bolted onto the outside that gives you the meat and a little bit of space to mount some nutserts in there. So I went ahead and mounted some nutserts inside there. We were just shy from being able to get this to clear. That plate was literally about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch from clearing, so we had to actually adjust the frame and move that out and cut that chunk out so that it would work, and then we remounted it back up in there. You can see here we're mounting nutserts. We're drilling this plate out and mounting nutserts to be able to actually use the 1/4x20 threads that come with the Norton 1600 series and be able to actually mount it to this glass door. Here we go. Now we actually have the system all set up. You can see the two plates on top. You can see that the installation is very clean, very nice, and very, very well put together. It all works together very, very nicely. We've got a closer that we can go ahead and replace if it ever becomes
Alright, so now we have our maglock set up
else.
over here. We've used a clamp to clamp the metal portion of the maglock to the door, and we've got a conventional door closer over here. You'll notice that there was no way to set up a center hung door closer on this side, and there's no way to set it up into the floor. So based off the way the system operates, we have our push to exit over here, and we push, and then voila, door comes open and comes shut very nicely, calm and controlled. Then it engages, the maglock will engage, and then even just having motion in here to get out, it will let you out. Then from the outside, comes in like so, and then voila. Very, very cool. And then we've got our power supply mounted up over here to control everything. Over to this side. Now, we're going to go ahead and notify that we do have an electrician coming to go ahead and hardwire the unit in. We just use the pigtail so that we can test the system, make sure that it works, and make sure that it's operating correctly. We can also leave it there
to provide that security, since it is a magnetic locking system, until the electrician can get there and actually hardwire it in. Once they do that, then it's not going to be able to be tampered with, and you'll be set up ready to go from there.